friends, this is Grace and welcome to my channel and welcome to the June edition of Try It Out. This is a ongoing series that I've been doing here since this year, where in once a month I try something that I've seen online or I've seen on somebody else do that I've never done before. So for this month, it's actually going to be trying out this new to me product. This is a pop-up die or a set of pop-up dies from Stampendous, I believe. And I actually got this at Michael's recently. You know, we have been on a stay-at-home order for a while, but it had been lifted. I think it was in May that it was lifted over here, and then our stores started slowly opening, and so Michael's open, and I try not to like go to the store just to go to the store, but I think because being at home for a long time, I don't know, I just felt like I needed to go window shopping, and I actually ended up shopping. But I got a few things at Michael's. The main reason I wanted to go there was because I needed to get some Mod Podge um, to put together my puzzle that I do. And then I ended up, going through the scrapbooking aisle, and I found this die set in the clearance section. It used to be, I think it was $19 or something like that, and then it came down to 10. So I thought that it was a good deal. Plus, I've always wanted to have, to try out pop-up cards. And so I thought that this would be a good thing to have for the pop-ups. So let's go back to what I'm doing here. As soon as I got home, the first thing that I did was I actually checked out to see if there were any videos using this product. And because YouTube is a plethora of a lot of, things that we can learn. Sure enough, there was a video kind of showcasing this product and what this die set could do. And the lady from Stampendous, the first thing that she did was she had created kind of a guide for her dies, because what this is, it creates little grooves within your card, and it would show you different sizes of pop-ups. And that's what I did. As you can see here, I numbered them based off of the dies. So this will be my guide from now on as I use this set. And so basically it will show you how fat the flip is, the pop-up portion of it. And then there's also kind of like a two-tier part to it, wherein you can create two different layers of the pop-up. And so I'm really grateful that I was able to watch that video before I tinkered around with this product, because then I wasn't, I don't know, I felt like I wasn't just going through it blindly. And so I encourage you to do that. If you have a new item, see if if the company has a video for it, or even if somebody else has kind of a review for it, just so that you don't spend too much time trying to figure it out yourself, especially if somebody else has already done that for you. So I am going to create 3 cards for you, kind of showing different ways that I'm going to use the pop-up feature of this die set. And then the first one is just going to be a simple pop-up. This is going to be a birthday card. And what I have noticed, I don't do any pop-ups, by the way. I think I did one maybe a year ago or so, where I used my silhouette to create the pop-up feature of the card. And that's fine, I could do that too, but I feel like this die is a little bit easier to manage, just because there's this, little piece that you can use versus having to turn on my laptop and turning on my electronic die cut machine. The first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm working on the front of the card. Like I said, I've never really done pop-ups before, so I'm kind of new to this, but as I go with my second and third card, I've realized that I should do the inside piece first, the pop-up part first before I do the inside, I mean the outside. But again, I'm just kind of learning here. So if you're new to my channel or new to this series, again, I am just kind of finding things online, or that I've seen some people do, whether it's here on YouTube or on Pinterest, and just trying it out for myself. The beauty of this is you kind of get to see me make mistakes um, and also kind of see if it's something that you would like to try out for yourself. As you can see here, I'm just doing the pop-up feature, and it's really easy. In the video, I saw the lady, she went from the back first, folding in those edges, and then doing the center fold, and of course the fold of the pop-up. So it was really easy. It took, like maybe a minute or so to create that. I wanted to do, you can do a cardstock with this as an insert, but I wanted to kind of play around with all of my pattern papers, since I have a few, and my pattern paper stash was getting a little too big. So I rummaged through that stash and went through my collection of papers here. And so I'm going to use this blue as my insert, and as you can see, I adhered one side first and then kind of squished that to make sure that it's all the way into that corner of the fold, and then I added adhesive to the other side and then closed my card so that it will adhere properly. And I did trim that down so that you can see a little bit of the white as a border. Now I have this die cut piece that just has a layered cake on one side, and then I'm gonna put "for you" there, because the sentiment will say in the front, it will say "my birthday wish," and then in the inside it will have "for you." And this is a very simple pop-up. It just has my sentiment block that's adhered to that pop-up feature, and then so when the recipient opens it up, that block just kind of opens like that. Now if you are a more seasoned card maker, or you've done a lot of pop-ups, you can definitely do a lot more than what I did here. But like I said, this is my first time, and I'm just playing around, just trying to figure out how to use this product. And so I just did a very simple one for my first layout, or first card rather. And then I have these stamped presents. They're actually from a Christmas stamp set, but I colored them in with some, like colorful markers, just to make them more birthday instead of Christmas. And that's basically what my card looks like. I really like the pop-up version. I'm so glad that I purchased it, even though, again, I went into Michael's not planning on purchasing any scrapbook stuff. I just wanted to get Mod Podge, but I feel like, once in a while, especially being that for a few months that we were on a stay-at-home order. So this is the number 7 here, but when I was watching the video, the lady actually added the number 6 die on top. So instead of having 2 layers, you had 3 layers. And so that's what I'm trying to do here. And I'm using a craft card base for this. This is an A2 card size. I just always like to do A2 because that's just easier to get envelopes for, and also for the size, the mailing size. So this one is again another birthday card, and I used a pattern paper again for that. So I used the number 7 die, and then I cut that out, and then I added the number 6 die on top of that, and then run it through my die cut machine, because that's what the lady did, and I thought that it was really fun. And as you can see, you can combine some of the dies together to create more layers or more pop-ups in your card. Excuse me. And so now I'm working on the front of the card, and again I'm using some pattern paper scraps and also some dies from my set. I have this, I think it's a porcupine die, and it's part of a set from Fancy Pans, and I am also using a caterpillar that's going to be on the inside of the card, and then a few banners. So I have done the pop-up, and now I'm creating the front of the card. I die cut the main background with some my favorite things, scallop die. If you have watched my June 10 handmade cards, one homemade kit, you know that I'm kind of in love with that scallop die right now, and so that's gonna be part of a lot of my cards from here on out. And then the sentiment for this card will be warmest wishes. That's actually a leftover from my June 10 handmade cards, and that's actually part of a holiday set, but I felt like, you know, summer, warm, that could go with warmest wishes. So, and I'm just using these die cut banners just to kind of add a little bit more kind of festive feel to the inside of the card. And I have another die that says happy, and I'm going to finish that off with some small alphabet dies that would spell birthday. And I thought that it was really cute. The one thing that I've learned as I was going through this is make sure that when you're adding adhesive, you just add adhesive to the part that will stick to those flaps of the pop-up pieces, because as you can see here, I put way too much, and so when I close it, the adhesive actually goes into the back of the paper, and so the pop-up piece does not it gets stuck anyway. So make sure that you put adhesive just on the piece where it's going to get stuck with the flaps of the pop-up piece. And so I was able to use a lot of scraps here, little letter stickers, things that just sitting in my scrap stash that kind of needed to be used, or at least kind of, you know, paid attention to. And I am using my tracing wheel here because I wanted to add a few stitching designs to the pieces that I'm adhering to my card, and I don't have a specific die for some of them. Okay, so with this one, instead of having the pop-up piece go from top to bottom, I'm going to try to see if I can do it from left to right. And that's another thing that I like about this die cut piece or die cut set, is that because it's just those little pieces, you can really do them in whatever way that you would like the orientation of your pop-up. So I'm really happy with this purchase. I will try to link it in the description box below if I can maybe find it on Amazon or maybe scrapbook.com or something. But again, this is not a review per se. It's just to try it out. I don't normally do a new to me product when I am trying it out. I try out every single thing, whether it's technique, whether it's an idea, or maybe a layout inspiration or a card inspiration. So I encourage you to check out all of the other items on my playlist. There is a playlist in my YouTube channel for my Try It Out series, and so I encourage you to check that out. So for this one, the inspiration really came from these two. Are they squirrels? I'm not even sure, but they're little critters and they're die cuts. And I happen to have two of them and they're facing each other. And so I'm going to create a Miss You type of card. And I am just using, again, some small letters that I have in my stash. And this stash is, or this particular letter sticker is a little bit transparent. So I'm adding that to some white cardstock just so that it will stand out. And I'm going to put missing on the front of the card, and then I cut out a piece of white cardstock with some stitch rectangle die, and then I'm going to put you on that, and that's going to go in the um, inside of my card. And I specifically picked white just so that it will be also a block where you can add sentiments if you wanted to, because again, I'm using some pattern paper for my scraps, and I used a blue kind of cloud based pattern paper for the inside of my card. So now I'm going to put this critter right here, and I'm going to put him or her in facing left, so that when you open the card, or when you're closing it, the guy is looking to the right, and then when you open it, the other guy is looking to the left. And basically that's going to be my card. The fun part about this pop-up is that I can make my cards really simple, but it could still be fun because of that pop-up feature. But to kind of add a little bit more, I'm going to add a few glitter glue, a glitter pen rather, for my critters, and I'm just going to leave that open like that since it's still wet and I wanted that to dry. So here's some close-ups. Thank you again for stopping by, and I hope to see you again sometime soon. Bye.